Hey, how you doing? I'm Van. Welcome back to the only channel on YouTube that... and... with the best of them. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time seeing me, it probably is. Please subscribe, I would love you. But if you're already subscribed, as always, thank you so much for coming to check out another one of these garbage things that I keep putting out. For the uninitiated, I'm a gamer. Gaming is my primary hobby, and has been for the majority, if not the entirety of my life. I was an only child, and it gave me somebody to play with and something to do. I wasn't very imaginative as a kid, so having something to give me ideas and give me things to do was just the best thing. It was just great. I found myself drawn to a particular type of main character, usually found in RPGs. A lot of people have very mixed feelings and very mixed emotions about the silent protagonist. It's polarizing, because on one hand, a good silent protagonist will enable a different experience. God, I hate living in the middle of town. Everywhere, all the time there's flies. But a good silent protagonist not only eliminates the need for a voice actor, which, you know, is good for the budget, but it also potentially even adds to the character. My first real experience with a silent protagonist was Red from Pokemon Red, but it didn't register to me that he was didn't actually register with me that he was supposed to be silent and has been silent since the first game. Until the second game, when you meet him on Mount Crystal or whatever it is. Mount Silver. That's it. I was close. I find that neat. I find silent protagonists interesting because it allows me to project more of myself into them. It allows me to put myself into their shoes. Today, we're talking about the best silent protagonist. But before we do that, we gotta lay some ground rules, because what is and is not a silent protagonist is a little murky, because you have characters like Mario and Link and Kirby who technically qualify as silent protagonists, because when you're playing them, they don't have a voice. They make noises, they jump, and they do things, but they don't have lines. What creates the best silent protagonist? A good silent protagonist enables one of two kinds of experiences within a game. One, it serves a purpose within the story or for the character in question. Two, it enables the main character, you, to play out your power fantasy without distraction from the protagonist. These are usually pretty mutually exclusive. The more personality your protagonist has, the less you're typically able to project onto it. That's not always the case. A lot of times the silent protagonist who makes a smart decision in a smart moment will usually garner positive results. Criteria 2. Text boxes count. To an extent. I make some exceptions for small phrases or one-time things, but generally, if your character is talking, we just can't hear it, that doesn't qualify as a silent protagonist, because they may be silent to you, but in-world they are not. And lastly, the game cannot be made worse by the protagonist's silence. We're going to use the one negative example that's going to appear in this video. Artyom, the main character of Metro Exodus. That's the one that I've played, and that's the one that I know the most about. In Metro Exodus, Artyom is not silent until you have the controller and you are controlling him. In loading screens, he very clearly and elegantly just describes everything that's happening around him with words that would fit a poet, but he does not open his mouth a single time, no matter what happens during the course of the gameplay. He doesn't respond to radios, he doesn't talk to his wife, he doesn't communicate with anyone, he's just there. That just makes you question what the point of it is. Please make sure you like the video, please subscribe. I'm gonna go over a couple of honorable mentions, a bunch that I didn't include for one reason or another, and then we're gonna jump into the list proper. I mentioned a few of them earlier, but Mario, Link, Kirby, Samus, and Red are all not going to appear on this list. Why? Not because I don't want to put them here. Every list is going to have these characters on there. Plus, with Mario and Link in particular, you really know what they sound like. I mean, depending on the game, Link isn't silent either. I'm also not putting Gordon Freeman or Shell on here because I have not played Portal or Half-Life. I don't feel as if I am qualified to say that these are the best or my favorite silent protagonists if I haven't played the game. I know they're good. I do. I gotcha. But it is what it is. Then you have those that were just removed from contention by the competition. Crash Bandicoot didn't make it. Always second-class citizen. Sparrow, the main character from Fable 2. Very good game. Also didn't make it. He's dead. Doom Guy barely didn't make it. And the main character from Saints Row, the Playa, didn't make it.
I'm gonna skull fuck that bitch.
Hope you don't mind hepatitis.
What?
And with that all out of the way, I'm just gonna start talking. Before you say a word about my number 10, I know there's an asterisk to Isaac. I know he has a voice now. I know that they have retconned it effectively, making Isaac a fully voiced protagonist from the first game. That's what happened in the remake, and I'm fine with that. They did a good job. Dead Space, though, feels more terrifying when Isaac says nothing. It's so difficult for me to project myself into a third-person character. I can enjoy their experience and enjoy their journey, but it's very hard for me to put myself in the shoes of a character who I'm viewing in third person. Isaac is not difficult to do that with because he's a big, clunky metal tin. You know there's a character in there, and you know there are motivations to this character. You feel those motivations. But when you're not playing the game, when the story is happening, that's when those motivations are shown. When the game is going and you're doing your thing out there as Isaac, Isaac doesn't say anything. Other people talk to you, you may have a reaction to a thing that happens, but you don't speak. And Isaac is as bland as they come in the first game. Don't mistake that. When I say he's got personality and motivations, I mean that with the barest minimum qualities. But for Dead Space, where the game itself, where the environment, the Kishimura? Is it the Kishimura? Oh, I'm gonna hate myself. I don't remember. The ship is the prime focus of Dead Space, and the things, the horrors, the terror that has ensued within the walls and the confines of this vessel. That is the focus, and being able to explore it in silence really amps the atmosphere to 11. I didn't just place them here so they could have two Isaacs back to back, man. It really genuinely just worked out this way. This is the best place I could find for them. I don't know if you've played Golden Sun. I don't know if you've heard of Golden Sun. Golden Sun's an old game at this point. Golden Sun was a game that I didn't even have whenever it was new. I don't think I got it till I had a DS. My first memory with Golden Sun was my cousins being at my great-grandmother's house. One of my cousins was stuck at the very last boss and genuinely just could not beat it. And I went, hey, can I try? And then spammed all the massive damage options constantly the entire time and then just won. I don't know what he was doing, but he wasn't doing it well. Golden Sun's a very good game. And the main character, Isaac, is a good protagonist. Isaac regularly gives thoughts, opinions, and lends his voice, so to speak, to various situations that occur throughout the game and to the party. As the player, you are sort of actually able to act like your choices matter, being given the option to say yes or no to some pretty major decisions. Sometimes it'll just kind of railroad you to do the thing that the game wants you to do, but that is, the RPG experience. I love the Fire Emblem games, but I'm also a fake fan. You have to keep that in mind, because I've only played 2 of them, and I've only played the best ones, but I love Fire Emblem. My only gripe with Byleth as a character is that I cannot customize what she looks like. Yes, Byleth is a woman, and I will not hear otherwise. I always play females in RPGs and stuff. If I can make my own character or make a decision, I'm always picking the woman. I don't know why that is. But Byleth is relatively bland on purpose. Their personality can reflect whoever it is that they're with and who they're around at the time. Depending on who you romance, you'll see completely different sides to Byleth, primarily because you're just, lying to all of these people so you can sleep with them. Not all of them, you can only sleep with some of them, but you know. I mean, come on, you get to play as a wolf. Do you expect that wolf to talk? This is a perfect way to create a silent protagonist. Literally, have them be something that does not speak. I understand Amaterasu is a god in the form of a white wolf. That white wolf has a little, Jiminy Cricket thing on their shoulder, and that Jiminy Cricket gets annoyed that you don't speak or respond, by the way. Because even more than just looking like a wolf, Amaterasu, despite being a god of phenomenal power, just acts like a wolf most of the game. Also just hangs out and does wolf things, like licking herself and painting calligraphy. Wolves do that, right? In their spare time?
I've been looking for you for 2 years! Say something! Just this once! I'm gonna kill Praxis.
People don't talk about the Jak and Daxter games enough, and that's really a shame. Jak 2 especially blew my mind whenever I first tried it. Going from the first Jak game to Jak 2 was such a difference, not just in terms of the tone of the game or the setting, but in terms of the quality. Because Jak 1 was a great game, but Jak 2, oh my god, blew it out of the water. Jak 3 is still very good also, it just didn't have quite the same punch going from 2 to 3 as going from 1 to 2 did. Jak does speak a few times in the game, but most of Jak's thought processes is written on his face. This man cannot hide his facial expression to save his life, and will get you in trouble at the bar if you don't watch him. The only time I really vividly remember Jak talking is at the beginning of the second game, because if I'm not mistaken, you go the entire first game without Jak speaking any. Then you start the second game with Jak screaming that he's going to kill somebody, and then you don't hear Jak talk again for another like 40 hours. Okay, I did put these two next to each other so we could have Jak and Jak, but whatever. Jak was on this list anyway, and this is a fine place for him. I can't think of a single gaming experience that collectively blew the minds of the gaming community more than the ending, or not even the ending, really the midpoint of Bioshock, the Would You Kindly scene. At that point, and no point before that, the main character has gone from a faceless nobody to somebody who has had a secret purpose the entire time. You have been a sleeper agent, and you haven't even realized it, with your free choices and your free will that you thought you had literally being programmed into you so you would obey everything that was told to you. All of this, every bit of this, is done without the main character ever saying a word. Then you add in the first-person perspective, which does wonders for being able to place yourself into that protagonist's shoes, because you're literally playing from the POV of their shoes, from the POV of in their shoes. Jak, of course, falls flat, zero personality, while still trying to be propped up as a character of his own. He's not. He's a vessel for the player. And once you accept him as that, he's almost perfect. Just a little too bland for my liking. Alright, so number 3 is Jak. That means number 4 is... Oh, it's... Yeah, I know, I ruled out the Doom guy, but I didn't rule out the Doom Slayer. I know, I'm splitting hairs, but whatever, fight me. Doom guy is so much fun. He's such an entertaining, silent protagonist, because he's so loud in everything else that he does. The way the Doom Slayer walks into rooms and uses people as if they are just tools for his own game, I meant gain, but game kind of works there. But he treats them as if they are just objects for his use, which is concerning if done in reality. But as a power trip sort of main character, when you can feel strong just walking into a room, you know that they're doing something right. Anger, wrath, rage, they all seep through everything the Doom Slayer does, smashing things for no reason when he's finished with them, breaking things, getting angry, and never making a sound from his vocal cords. I mean, he's fine squelching and stomping and shooting. Words are just difficult, except whenever he's talking about, like, the blood or whatever, that one, the one thing. Because, again, he does have a voice, it's just, he doesn't talk, because why would he? He's the fucking Doom Slayer. I know, this one's cheating. I cheat on at least one entry every time I do a ranking video, just get over it. We're not including Wolf either, because Wolf is bland at best and forgettable at worst. And I know what you're thinking. Well, if you're saying Wolf is bland, but Wolf is the only one with personality, why are the other ones being put on a pedestal? Well, let me educate you, friend. Power fantasy. Dark Souls really, really exemplifies, like, perfectly highlights the concept of the power fantasy main character. You make your own character from scratch. You can even create almost identical characters from the first game all the way through Elden Ring and play just them if you want to. Your character looks how you want, dresses how you want, and fights how you want. Then you begin to die. You begin to get frustrated. You begin to get mad. Unknowingly, unwittingly, every death makes you more and more emotionally invested in the game itself. Maybe not unknowingly, that's kind of the point, because you know, at the end of the struggle, you will be rewarded with the biggest boost of serotonin anyone has ever felt in gaming history. And at least for me, that translates to a sort of emotional attachment to my characters. Once I've beaten the game as any character in any Souls game, I keep that character's save file until I lose whatever device I had that save file on. It's a bit of sentimentality that doesn't really go beyond Souls games, and I couldn't really tell you why. Being able to choose how the world ends at the end of every one of them is also a benefit.
That was a phantom.
People remember Prey. They've got to, right? It's the best System Shock clone on the market by far. It's the best System Shock game on the market. And if you don't know what that is, System Shock was the original game that really pioneered the game that was... Oh my god. Let me try that whole sentence again. Give me a second. The style of game presented in Bioshock and Prey, 2017 Prey specifically, are both based on the same source material game, being System Shock. Morgan Yu is an almost perfect silent protagonist. I do mean silent, truly silent. Morgan doesn't speak throughout the game, and there's a good reason for it. There's a lot of good reasons for a lot of things that Morgan does throughout the game that all make sense once you get to the end. I want to spoil it, I really, really do, but I'm not gonna. Morgan is an almost perfect vessel for player expression. I need to wipe my face off, I'm sweaty. Alright, that's a little better, I think. But Morgan is consistently the most rational person in the room, consistently the most qualified person to do the things that are required to be done of Morgan. Morgan doesn't argue when told to do things because Morgan doesn't need to. There's no purpose to the argument because of the necessity of what they're going through and the necessity of dealing with it. There's even a few moments in the game where you see video messages from yourself to the current you because you knew that this situation that you're in, the lack of memories, the amnesiac qualities you're experiencing, you knew as Morgan that this was a possibility and you planned for it. Get the fuck. Morgan's good. We like Morgan. Yay, Morgan.
May I help you?
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
But I'm asking you.
And you is answering.
Shut up!
There's been one silent protagonist that I think anybody watching this video has probably been expecting. Chrono Trigger's one of the best JRPGs of all time. I have played through it and beaten it probably 10 to 15 times for the sake of getting multiple endings on the DS version. Chrono himself is a phenomenal character too, with just so many good traits, and that's exactly why he's not number one. He's not even on my list. I'm just talking about him here because I have to. I didn't include Chrono because I can't do it justice. I don't have the words available to me to do that justice. That deserves to be its own video. The number one silent protagonist in all of gaming is the villager from Animal Crossing. Yes, I'm serious.
Oh, you're filming? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I thought it was your computer talking. I made $45.
Hell yeah. Proud of you.
Oh. I heard you talking about Villager.
Yeah.
In Mario Kart?
No, in Animal Crossing.
Mario.
Also in Animal Crossing.
I got fries.
You do have fries. They're Applebee's fries.
They are. I made $45.
She made $45. Imagine this. Imagine as you, not a video game character, not a protagonist, you are out and about in the world doing your day-to-day. Suddenly, a strange raccoon man pops out of a dumpster and tells you he wants to take you on an island escapade. All expenses paid, everything taken care of, and all you have to do is go with him. When you arrive, he suddenly tells you that you owe him $40,000, and the only way to pay him back is by working on the island as a slave. He doesn't say that word for word, but that's essentially what happens. This is basically what happens in every Animal Crossing game. You get kidnapped by this weird raccoon man, and eventually I assume you turn into one of the animal villagers after he steals your human soul. But the villager is weirdly okay with it. They're totally fine with this whole thing. Finding out they're suddenly $40,000 more in debt on an island by themselves that they can't leave from for some reason. They just vibe. That's the kind of energy I aspire to have. That's the kind of thinking and the kind of mindset that I wish that I could obtain. I wish I was that strong in the noggin, you know? I'm just saying, man, like, give some props to the villager. The villager is way tougher than you give them credit for. There you have it, my top 10 silent protagonists of all time. Not counting Chrono. Chrono's gonna be his own video at some point in the future, maybe. I really do like silent protagonists. I wish more games did them, and I wish more games did them well. My problem with the voice isn't even like voice acting or anything like that. It's just having to wait for my character to be done talking so I can go on to the next thing. I could have put like the Dark Urge on here too, but I didn't think about it. Honorary Dark Urge also, I guess. Or Tav. I don't like Tav, though. Tav's boring. Anyway, yeah, subscribe or something. Whatever. Y'all have a great rest of your night.